And now for a Next News special report.
And now a special report that you can't afford to miss. We're peeling back the layers of a political showdown that's capturing the nation's attention. From the courtroom to the campaign trail, the stakes have never been higher. As Trump takes the stand, a top Biden advisor throws in the towel, and whispers of a surprise Democrat nominee are now bubbling to the surface. Iowa's governor makes a bold move that could change the game for 2024, while key Democrat figures make plays that could redefine their party. We've got all this and more, including a final thought that brings home the real impact of these events on our great republic, so stick with us to the end. It's a perspective that every American needs to hear. Now, before we dive in, let's talk about support, the kind that keeps our newsroom thriving. Imagine a legal team, robust and reliable, backing up a presidential contender in a courtroom. That's what our sponsors do for us. They're not simply financial pillars, they are the silent champions of the free press, and supporting them is akin to endorsing our mission to deliver uncompromising news. They offer us something akin to what special collagen offers to those fighting the ravages of time, a means to maintain integrity and robustness against daily wear and tear. And when you choose to support them at healthwithgary.com, you're opting for a 53% discount while ensuring this news platform remains as resilient as ever. Now back to the fray. In a moment that's igniting commentary across the nation, former President Donald Trump didn't just walk out of the courtroom, he left with a parting shot that's as direct as it gets. Watch.
Trump, how's it going in there?
Look at that. Zip it. He is gagged. He can't say a thing. Absolutely ridiculous. Former President of the United States right there. It's a terrifying visual to consider what's happening. Now, moments after signaling silence to the press, he fired back, accusing the very judge who called him out of perpetrating a fraud. Trump's testimony in a Manhattan court was more than just an appearance. It was a vehement assertion of innocence and the indictment of the legal process itself. His direct confrontation with Judge Arthur Engoron wasn't just courtroom drama. It embodied the very struggle between a political figure and what he perceives as a judicial system weaponized against him. As Trump's defense attorney, Chris Kise, attempted to navigate these waters, Judge Engoron's requests for control seemed less about courtroom decorum and more a microcosm of the broader political battle at play. The judge's warnings to Kise came off not just as an attempt to maintain order, but as a veiled threat that carries a heavier subtext in the political sphere. Trump's legal team responded with fervor. Attorney Alina Habba's retort in court wasn't just a defense of her client, but a stark criticism of the prosecution's approach. Trump's own comments, declaring the trial very unfair and hoping for public scrutiny, weren't mere observations. They were a rallying cry for transparency and support from his base. And amidst the courtroom's legal sparring, Trump's characterizations of the New York Attorney General Letitia James as a political hack spotlighted his view of the trial as a politically motivated witch hunt, not just a legal proceeding. And outside the courtroom, the political narrative continued to unfold. Trump's forceful message before testifying was not just a defense tactic, it was a direct accusation against the current administration, framing the legal battles as a tool for election interference. The tension didn't subside. Outside the courtroom, Trump's attorney, Alina Habba, didn't mince words as she expressed her indignation over the judge's demeanor, making it crystal clear that such treatment was unacceptable and wouldn't be tolerated. Watch.
You have a right to hire a lawyer who can stand up and say something when they see something wrong. But I was told to sit down today. I was yelled at, and I've had a judge who is unhinged slamming a table. Let me be very clear. I don't tolerate that in my life. I'm not going to tolerate it here. And you know what? You shouldn't either.
In Iowa, Governor Kim Reynolds' endorsement of Ron DeSantis over Trump was not merely a statement of preference, but an influential political move with far-reaching implications for the 2024 race. This endorsement, coupled with the stark polling data presented, suggests a growing sentiment within the Democrat Party that it's time for new leadership. The support for Trump among black voters, a traditionally Democratic stronghold, is both groundbreaking and indicative of shifting party alignments. one that CNN hosts were clearly frustrated with. Watch.
Trump cards here. And the major lingering issue of Biden's age, well, it has become very clear that is not receding. 71% say Biden at 80 years old is just too old to be an effective president. The irony here is only 39% feel that way about Donald Trump. He is 77. Now, there is a caveat to all of this that we should keep an eye on here. If Donald Trump is convicted and sentenced in the federal election subversion trial, the picture changes dramatically. In that situation, those polls say that Biden wins in all of those swing states, every single one of them. Something to keep an eye on going forward. Poppy?
Got to read the crosstabs, Mattingly. Let's bring in CNN political analyst Natasha Alford, Errol Lewis back with us, senior political analyst and anchor John Avlon. Great to have you all here. Natasha, let me just start with you. I mean, reading in the crosstabs, the most important part, as Phil reminds us, just all of those, from women to Hispanic voters, black voters, 22% of black voters behind Trump. That is not seen in the modern era for a Republican frontrunner, right? I mean, wow.
It's startling. I looked at the Democratic response, Kevin Munoz, the spokesman for Biden, and this idea that, you know, we have a year, we can turn things around. I think you have to look at this being a challenge from the very beginning, right? Black voters from the very beginning were saying that we will help you get Joe Biden into office, but, you know, this is not necessarily our preference. This was about democracy and saving democracy. And so here we are a year later. He has not been able to change their impression. Black home ownership is down. Going to the store, you know, even if jobs have improved in terms of numbers, the prices that people are paying it doesn't resonate with them. So Bidenomics, all of the things that Biden has done to try to connect, it's not connecting with this group.
And black unemployment was quite low during the Trump administration.
And lower now.
But he said it all the time. Trump said it all the time.
He had
And here's where it gets interesting. David Axelrod's public pondering over Biden's viability as a candidate did more than raise eyebrows. It signified an internal recognition of Biden's faltering support in battleground states. And these statistics, they are not just numbers. They're a wake-up call for the Democrat leadership. The potential for conceding defeat is not merely about accepting loss, but about strategic withdrawal for the greater good of the party. Such a move could pave the way for a new nominee who might reinvigorate the Democrat base and realign the party's chances for success in the 2024 election. In Senator Ted Cruz's comments on Fox and Friends about the potential for Michelle Obama to be the Democrat nominee were more than just political conjecture. They were indicative of the ongoing strategic discussions within the GOP about the possible directions of the Democrat Party that it could take in response to Biden's declining poll numbers. Watch.
I said on my podcast 3 months ago, Verdict with Ted Cruz, I predicted that there was a very real chance the Democrats would jettison Joe Biden and parachute in Michelle Obama, and that they'd do it at the convention next summer. I think the chances of that are rising every day.
She's never been.
Meanwhile, the actions of Governors Newsom and Pritzker donating to a mayoral candidate in South Carolina were deliberate political maneuvers. These were not just contributions to a local campaign. These were clear signals of their ambitions for the White House, leveraging the early and influential Democrat primary in South Carolina to boost their national profiles as Biden numbers fall. Amidst these political currents, Trump's continued message of strength and leadership was solidified in his new campaign ad. The ad, aimed at Iowa and New Hampshire voters, reasserted his image as a steadfast leader, contrasting it with what his campaign described as the current administration's weakness. Watch.
As commander-in-chief, he always had his soldiers' backs, was always there to support them and their families. He kept his promise to keep them out of endless wars and to never forget about them after they served. America learned having a weak leader can tragically lead to American deaths, which is why America needs strength now more than ever.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
This intense political theater is not just about the individuals involved. It is a reflection of the broader political dynamics at play in America. The courtroom battles, the endorsements, the strategic donations, and the campaign ads all are pieces of a larger puzzle that, when assembled, will give us a picture of what the 2024 presidential election looks like. And if you got value from this report, go ahead and tap subscribe. Now, tonight's revelations are more than fleeting headlines. They are the pulse of a republic at a crossroads. As Trump asserts his presence in court and on the campaign trail, it's not just about the man, but the principles of due process and political fairness. When governors endorse candidates, it's not merely a nod of support, it's a chess move in the grand strategy of governance. And as Democrat strategists consider the unthinkable, replacing Biden, we see a party grappling with its identity and future. This isn't just news, it's a narrative that will define the trajectory of our nation. For us, as citizens of this great republic, it's imperative to stay informed, engaged, and ever vigilant. Because in the end, these stories are about our collective journey, one that we must navigate together with foresight, wisdom, and an unwavering commitment to the principles upon which our republic stands. Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Now keep up your quest for truth with this next news report. And if you found our channel enlightening, join the millions who agree with you. Tap subscribe. Thank you for watching the Next News Network.